Welcome back to the Norse Benchwarmers podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, here joined by producer Josh Northcutt, co-host Ben Miller, and director Garrett Jordan. Fellas, we are here for our NFL episode of the week. We had quite the week in the NFL last week, but how was your guys' weekend? Or week so far to this point, I guess, because we already talked about weekend.
Yeah,
it's hard when you have all these different shows.
It's all good. It's just all stressful. I mean, this semester's coming to an end.
It's coming to an end very fast.
I don't know how you're doing all your classes and such, but yeah, no, it's not looking good on my side. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's like I said going in. It's like anytime I try to start on something in class, it ends up in this like 2 to 3 hour just like wormhole that I don't get anything else done. But Ben, how are you doing?
Yeah, it's definitely been stressful. I mean, especially with that project we got in
production management.
Production management. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's stressful, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's stressful. What about you,
Tracy? If you're watching, very stressful project. But it's also my fault for having all this other stuff to do, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, Garrett, do you have anything you want to add to all of this? You're in production management too.
I am in production. No, just kind of worked the UC game last night.
Yeah, another big stress point of the week.
Big thing. Yeah, everything's sort of coming to a head right now at the end of the semester.
Yeah, I like how there'll be like a little lull for Thanksgiving, like maybe the Thanksgiving and Black Friday kind of have a little bit of chill, and then it's just right back into it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get right into it. Though we have our fantasy recap here. Finally back on the winning board for Kyle Pitts' legacy season. But I think the main focus we need to have here is on the standings, because that is where things are heating up. Actually, we should first and foremost talk about Cup My Life into Breezes.
No longer in last place. No longer in last place.
You are still technically in last place.
No.
Three-way tie between Cup My Life into Breezes. Classic Phil, who very much should be 4-8 right now, if not for Joe Mixon dropping a 30 bomb and allowing Alex to come back and win that game by just a point.
Thanks, Alex.
And then we have Ben's best team, who has fallen hasn't quite recovered from not having a team for half the year, and then now doesn't have Dak Prescott at QB. Sam Darnold has decided to fall off a cliff.
I mean, as soon as I picked up Darnold, that's when he started going downhill.
Welcome to fantasy football.
Yep, exactly.
But things are getting very, very dicey here at the top. We have a two-way tie for first place between me and the Deshaun team, both stuck at 8-3. And then we have a three-way tie. And Alex's win may be the biggest win of the season for playoff-wise.
That was massive.
Because otherwise, he would currently be 6-5, and you would still be in the playoffs. Where all of us are clinching the playoffs. Kyle Pitts, Deshaun, presidential picks, Baker's dozen, and the Chinnery 20s.
Crazy turnaround.
Yeah, insane turnaround for Baker's dozen. Shout out to Chinnery 20 for staying alive. Really big game. I thought I was going to lose to Chinnery, honestly, after night one. Terry McLaurin had 2 points, but thank you, Saquon, for dropping 30, 33 to be exact. And we have it set. Now it's just down to Trey's talented team and fight, both of which under 500, but should be able to will sneak in to the playoffs here for that 6th spot. Is it 6 or is it 8? It's 6, right?
It should be
Yeah,
6.
6.
Yeah, it's 6 because there's
Spot.
buys. There's buys. I got my basketball and football leagues mixed up. My bad. Anywho, so they're fighting it out. Trey's got the advantage at 5-6. Fight is at 4-7. So still 2 weeks left in the regular season. Anything could happen.
In last place. Doesn't matter. That's all I care about.
I was going to say,
That's all I care about. When I saw, first off, I thought Phil won. I had no idea. Like, I didn't pay attention to the game Monday when we go into it, but the fact Joe Mixon, like, basically saved me as well.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate Joe Mixon and everything he has done. And, Ben, thank you for continuing not set your lineup in the beginning of the year, giving me a free win, which you would have beat me.
You're welcome.
So I'm just like...
without that free win, you're 2-9 right now, aren't you?
Very much
so. So we can thank Ben for not having a free dinner. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I'm very excited to see what the standings look like next week. I got the presidential powerhouse, who is looking like they're probably going to beat me this week, but we'll see how it all goes down, because with Saquon, anything can happen. But let's move along to recapping last week, as we had quite an interesting week. Josh, you want to take that away?
Sure. On Thursday Night Football, we had the Eagles over Commanders 26-18. The Fox game of the week, the Packers outlasted the Bears 2019. Bills over Chiefs for the CBS game of the week 30-21. Chargers over Bengals 34-27 on Sunday Night Football. And as I mentioned earlier, Monday Night Football, Joe Mixon and the Texans over the Cowboys 34-10. Gentlemen, let's just start on Thursday night. For me, in my opinion, it was the difference of a team who has been there before and a team who hasn't. The Eagles have been in these big game situations where I won't say their season's on the line, but their first place is on the line. It's a big game feel, and it's a difference between a young team who was kind of playing it safe and a team who had Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it right on the nail there. It was really not even close for most of it. A little garbage time touchdown from the Commanders late, and shout out Saquon for going off in the second half and getting me that fantasy win.
I'm about to say, yeah, Philly went on a 23-0 run after falling down 10-3 in the third. Yeah, so I mean,
I missed.
But it wasn't close in the second half.
Yeah,
it was a
right.
Saquon Barkley show.
I'll be honest. We had gotten there after working a game and we were watching it, so I just kind of watched it from the point of view of the second half. So
That's fair. I mean, that's fair then. Ben, any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, overall, though, it was a great performance by the Eagles offensively and defensively. I mean, coming into this game, though, we knew the run game, obviously, with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley was going to be big. But I feel like the Eagles defense, they arguably put up their best performance of the year. And they did a great job stepping up against a really talented Commander offense. They pressured Jaden Daniels, held him to 18 rushing yards. They held Terry McLaurin to 93 yards. So, yeah, this Eagles team, they are definitely for real, and they're going to continue the momentum.
Fair enough. Moving on, as I said, the Packers outlasted the Bears. Jordan Love runs it in from 1 yard out with 3 minutes to go in the game, and then Chicago gets a field goal blocked. This is twice now that, as much as we've been bashing Caleb Williams has led quote-unquote game-winning drives, and his team has failed him, whether it's his defense celebrating before they could knock down a pass or a blocked field goal, which is debatable if you know the rules in the NFL. You're not allowed to hit the center.
Right.
They ran through the long snapper like I have never seen before. I'm talking his head was still down and he's going backwards. But McAfee did a whole special segment on it if you want to go find it on his thing. But he was just, the D linemen are taught 3 steps, hand up, and it was just perfect right down the middle. Line drive kick is how far it was, and Bears now have lost 10 in a row to the Packers.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams, though, after a rough couple of weeks, though, he definitely looked comfortable out there, throwing for 231 yards, ran 70 yards, looked confident out there. But I was impressed with the Bears' secondary, though, to limiting Jordan Love's to, I believe, 17 total passes. But overall, though, yeah, what a great game for sure.
Is that a commentary on the secondary for stopping that, or is that just more of a game plan thing?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
I would say a little bit of both. Basically, in my opinion, Jordan Love is starting to become basically the golden retriever. He's taking the role.
He's kind of taking that from Josh. Although Josh Allen had quite some throws in that Chiefs game.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that's just how the vibe I'm getting from Love. He gets a little too excited, and he thinks he's got that Brett Favre arm strength or that Aaron Rodgers touch, and it's not quite there.
No, not quite.
Right.
But he's also just in his second year in the NFL. I could see him fine tuning that at some point down the line. But I mean, you look at this Bears team; they're 4-6 now. There was a time where we had all NFC North teams in the playoffs a few weeks ago, and they have just slipped. They had some really bad performances. This was not one of those bad performances, but still, it's a game that you kind of need at 5-6 in a very competitive NFC. So they got to start. They got to turn around. They're at that point in the season. It's not like the AFC where the Bengals were 4-6 last week, and they still kind of had a outside chance with just a game out. So they got to figure something out right now. But they also necessarily didn't have the expectations of making the playoffs, at least by reasonable non-Bears fans. And I don't even think Bears fans really expected that. So
yeah, I'm going to say the only person
we've seen have definitely been nice.
Yeah, the only person who heard like going full in, believing in him was you. But I don't blame you for that. I mean, you have that #1 overall pick. You have a very good defense. and you had those weapons on offense. There's no reason why they shouldn't be a little bit better than they are, but it's a situation just like a team that we all love. They're not winning the games that they should have won. They should have beat the Commanders, and they should have beat the Packers. But
and that was things out of Caleb Williams' control. It was and it was kind of to that defense just kind of having a collapse there in the middle of the season. They definitely came back in this game against the Packers, but I mean the Cardinals absolutely destroyed them. So yeah, that's that game. But moving on down to the
Bills and Chiefs.
Bills and Chiefs, probably the game of the week, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
As it typically is with these two. We had a discussion after the show on Monday. What's Josh Allen now 4-1 in the regular season against Patrick Mahomes?
I believe so, yes.
Sounds about right.
And then 0-3, I believe, in the postseason.
Yeah, so this kind of is what you would expect from a regular season Bills Chiefs game. So am I still drinking the Kool-Aid? Maybe sipping it a little bit. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. But this definitely sparked the MVP. The MVP talks were already there, but now he's the favorite, right?
Yes, he is officially the favorite, which ironically enough, the offensive player of the year favorite is Saquon Barkley. So this week kind of jumped people ahead. And I believe there's somebody on the panel that may have predicted both those things happen. Oh, yeah, that guy. But no, Josh Allen, 27 of 42, 62, a touchdown and interception. But 12 rushes, 55 yards, and a touchdown. However, the story is Patrick Mahomes kind of continues to struggle. 23 of 33, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's the new wide receivers that everybody he thought was going to be there isn't there, between Hollywood and between Rice and whatnot. Kelsey not being Travis Kelsey anymore.
Right.
It looks weird, and it looks like it's still the Bills. I mean, they don't play the Bills well in the regular season. This team is built for a run in January. It doesn't really care about now. Yeah, they would have loved 23-0 or whatever the record would have been, 22-0.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. They'll put this game behind them. The AFC still runs through Arrowhead.
Absolutely.
Until the Chiefs lose 2 games, and then the Bills would have to win out. Or I guess actually no, the Bills can technically still lose a game, but. Because they'll hold the tiebreaker. But Ben, any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, overall though, going into this game though, the Chiefs defense they haven't allowed a lot of explosive plays though, and this Bills offense though is going to be arguably one of their biggest challenges heading into this game. They gave up, they gave up 4 explosive plays in the fourth quarter though. I mean, Josh Allen though, he just looked really confident out there, using his legs like he usually does. He connected with Knox down the field, Amari Cooper, Samuel. The pass rush showed up in big moments there, but overall though, what a great performance though.
And Tony Romo, for all the the hate he gets, made a very good point. He's missing his 2 top red zone threats, Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman, who's been coming on in recent weeks. Those are 2 tall, physical guys that can get red zone touchdowns. And you saw Curtis Samuel kind of step up, finally doing what we kind of expected him to do throughout his career. Can he stay healthy? And he hadn't been really getting snaps with Keon Coleman getting more reps. So he definitely held down that position, though, while he was out. But shout out to Josh Allen, because he is in his, I feel like, that Mahomes MVP season where he didn't have Tyreek Hill anymore. He just had Travis Kelsey, but he doesn't even really have Travis Kelsey. I mean, Kincaid is a really great tight end. I should not discredit him. He's a top tight end. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, Kelsey was the best tight end in the game in that season. So, this Bills team, I don't know. Anytime I watch them, I like what I see. I like the spreading the wealth, not having to force it into Diggs or force it to Big Game Davis or every other game Davis, whatever you want to call him. And, I think I really like what I see with this Bills team and their potential to challenge them in the playoffs. So,
definitely.
I'm sipping the Kool-Aid.
I'm going to say, it definitely seems like you're sipping the Kool-Aid. But there will be no more Kool-Aid sipped here in Cincinnati.
No orange Kool-Aid.
As the Chargers
Keep that away from
beat
me.
the Bengals 34-27, despite the Bengals rallying from 27-6 down, and despite many opportunities to put this game away. Gentlemen, I'm going to let you guys go first, and then I'm just going to share one stat, and then we can move on.
Yep.
So Ben, go right ahead.
All right. So, definitely disappointing, though, especially in that first half, though. I mean, Justin Herbert, he definitely took advantage of our weak defense, and he was making explosive plays, and they were converting in the end zone really well. But Overall, though, the Bengals, they just could not get it going, though. But they started to get it going, though. We started to, coming into this game, though, that pass game was going to be beneficial, though, and it definitely showed up in the second half. But they had opportunities to win, though. Like, I want to go back to this first field goal attempt by Evan McPherson. I feel like if he would have nailed that one, the Bengals would have won that game. That was going to bring the defense out with some momentum, taking a little bit of weight off their shoulders, and I had faith that they were gonna pull it off.
Well, they got to stop after he missed that first one.
Yeah.
So, like, I get your point, though. If they have that field goal on the board, they're not trying to get it down the field like they did that drive. They're just trying to kill time.
Right.
And that you have the ball in your court, maybe you still get down to that point. And if McPherson's in his rookie season, that's another made field goal. You're up 6 points. And the Chargers only need a touchdown to win, and the defense probably still collapses. But you have less time for the Chargers. Chargers had all the time in the world, and they got the touchdown as you would expect. But I think there's not one person to blame here. Offense got off to a slow start, but that's fair. Playing against the best defense in the NFL statistically, at the end of the day, they did score the most amount of points any team has that has played against the Chargers. And you add that with the defense getting some great, outstanding stops in the second half, and even forcing a turnover, which feels like it's been forever since they've done one of those.
Right. Yeah.
And the defense, they did their part, especially in the second half. Did not do their part in the first half, but we don't have to talk about that. And then it came down to the kicking, and McPherson once again comes short. And I see a lot of people blaming him for that Ravens loss.
Yeah.
That was not his fault. How is he supposed? Is he supposed to like angle his foot in a way that? That was not his fault. However, this game definitely falls on his shoulders. Not all his shoulders. There was problems on both sides, all areas, and I think that's the main thing. We try to point it at one direction. It's a team thing. It's a front office thing. It's a coaching thing. It's an offense thing. It's a defense thing. Not so much the offense for most part, but
O-line though is an issue.
O-line is most certainly an issue.
Yeah.
And a special teams thing. Why do we have to point it at one? Why do we have to have one thing that is the issue for every game? Why do we have to point out one play? You know, if your offense is better in the first half, maybe you don't have to worry about coming back down, 3 scores?
Yep.
So, yeah, that's my spiel. Josh, take it away.
Yeah, so I'll sum up this season right now. Through the first 11 games, the Bengals are 4-7. Joe Burrow has 3,028 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Players to achieve 3,000 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, and 5 or fewer interceptions through the first 11 games, along with their team's final record. There's only been 4. Tom Brady in 2007 and 2015, 16-0, 13-3. Aaron Rodgers, 2011, 2020, 15-1 and 13-3. Patrick Mahomes in 2020, 14-2, and Drew Brees in 2018, 13-3. Gentlemen, he is putting up historic numbers, and we are just wasting away.
Exactly.
We are literally wasting away the Joe Burrow MVP season.
That's what I was about to say. Most of their MVP seasons
the Jamar Chase Offensive Player of the Year system. The man's going to win the Triple Crown, arguably, as a wide receiver, and they're not going to make the playoffs. Musa. All right. Moving on, though. Texans over Cowboys 34-10. The only thing to mention is we did Joe Mixon show. 20 carries, 109 yards, 3 touchdowns. C.J. Stroud still doesn't look like himself. 23 of 34, 257, and a pick.
However, sophomore slump.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. Maybe the teams are starting to figure him out, but man, boy, oh boy, does Joe Mixon look good.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's not waste time there and move on to some other games. I'm sure there's at least one that I know everybody wants to talk about, but I'll let any of y'all go first if you have another game.
The game that really stood out to me was the Broncos and Falcons. 38-6 against a Falcons team that looks like a playoff contender in the NFC. And the Broncos just whopped them, just absolutely whopped them. And I don't even know how to explain it. The defense, great. We had Michael Penix out there for a little bit. He got some reps and actually looked pretty decent from what I saw. Didn't see every play, but yeah, I'm very interested to see how that works out with Michael Penix, but more interested to see Bo Nix with the Broncos. I think he's almost emerging as that second guy, or sorry, Ben Miller, as Garrett would call him. He's kind of emerging as that second Rookie of the Year guy that if Jaden Daniels, I doubt would, but if he were to slip in some way, shape, or form, we might be talking about him as the Rookie of the Year. This guy gets better each and every week. If you talk about this game, he had 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, 28 for 33 passing. If you told me he would sniff a game like this weeks 2 or 3, I would have called you insane. And here we are. Bo Nix may just be that guy.
What do you got, Garrett? You were going to say something?
I was just going to say, like, as far as Rookie of the Year conversation goes, I mean, Jaden Daniels is kind of like leveled off, so to speak, and Bo Nix is almost like growing up.
That's a perfect explanation.
It's like he's trending up at the right time. So I would not be surprised if 4 games from now, if this trend continues, we start to see a real big push for Bo Nix getting that Rookie.
Yeah, my wallet doesn't like that.
No, it doesn't, Josh, does it?
No, it doesn't, Garrett. Garrett, not fun. Yeah. Ben, you got to get. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, looking at their upcoming schedule, they got the Raiders, Browns, Colts, all winnable games there, and we could be looking at a Broncos team that is 8-5. 9-5, 9-5.
Colton, you picked him 0-17, right?
No, I didn't.
No,
that was me. That was me. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I was very wrong. All right,
very wrong. But Ben, what do you got? Or Bo Ben? I don't know.
I mean, you can call me Bo. I don't care.
The way he's playing, yeah.
But yeah, overall though, I was really impressed with the Denver Broncos over the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. I mean, Bo Nix though, he's looking more and more confident each and every week, and that Broncos defense continues to impress. I mean, I expected that game to be close. I did not expect a blowout whatsoever. I mean, but yeah, the Broncos, they're legitimate contenders though, and just looking at their next few games though, I think they're going to rack up some more.
I'm about to say that Colts game is going to be huge because they're literally 7-8 in the AFC wild card. So Colts keep winning, which they did win this week. Anthony Richardson career day crashes the Jets season 28-27. He went 20 of 30 for 272 yards, a touchdown, also 10 rushes, 32 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He even kind of admitted after the game, this game felt special to him because he took a lot of heat, obviously, over the last few weeks, which was well-deserved. Right. But to go back out there and basically kind of save the Colts season, get in a very important win, and we'll see where it takes from there. But the one game I thought you both were going to mention, and I'm just going to throw it out there.
It is now.
Lions.
It's the Jaguars. And Lions.
Lions 52, Jaguars 6. How does Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson have a job today? That's my only question. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know what Shad Khan's doing. I read that maybe Baalke has a relationship with Belichick, and maybe that's their hope of keeping Baalke around, but there's no reason that man should have a job. No reason. First off, he should have never got a second chance after he fired HAR-BALL in San Francisco, but that's besides that point. But yeah, no, the Lions offense is scary good, and the Jags have just quit on Dougie P. Post-game presser, they were asking Doug Peterson about, like, hey, who told Shad Khan this is like the best team put together and this and that? And Doug Peterson was just standing up there like, I didn't do that.
I saw that video. That might be one of the funniest coaches interviews I've ever seen. Because he looked like a deer in headlights.
Not BK after the UC game?
That was pretty funny. I'll give you that. That was pretty funny. But he definitely had that attitude of like, look, I don't even know anymore. Like, I don't know what to do.
Dude's just there.
He's just there.
Dude's like my attitude towards school right now. Like, I'm not going to be here next month. I don't know.
and then I did want to mention one more game because it would be wrong not to mention it. The Steelers.
Okay, that's the game I thought you were.
Steelers don't score a touchdown and still beat the Ravens 18-16. Boswell field goal after 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 field goal. I think that was 6 of them. Yeah, I think that was 6 of them.
All 6 field goals.
Just the future field goals that are coming.
So
thank you for getting me 24 points in fantasy.
But very impressive win for Steelers. That's a very good Ravens defense that they shut down. Or offense, sorry. Ravens offense that they shut down. Ravens offense that they shut down.
Bring up Jamar Chase's stats from a week ago.
Yeah, so no, the Steelers are for real. I mean, I've been telling y'all since the beginning of the year that they were going to win the North, and then I've been telling you for the last few weeks, I think they're the Chiefs' biggest threat. I still think that's what they are until the Bills beat the Chiefs in January. I refuse to believe that. Anybody have thoughts on the Steelers beating the Ravens?
You were right, Josh.
I've been waiting to hear that.
Josh has convinced me. I'm starting to drink a little bit of that Steelers Kool-Aid. This team looks like they are I mean, when you beat the #1 offense kicking only field goals, that's got to be some kind of sign, right? I can't.
I'd say that's a
I can't
pretty
see
good
that.
sign.
I
yeah.
can't see that as any other way. I mean, they just keep finding ways to win games against good teams, which is what's important.
They have the most wins in the NFL versus teams with winning records.
There you go. See,
I mean, earlier in the week I heard, they haven't beat anybody. Well, no, that's a lie. They literally have the most wins in the NFL against winning record teams. And then the last game I had to mention is Taysom Hill does Taysom Hill things. And 35-14 win over the Browns. And Jameis's return to New Orleans wasn't so sweet for Jameis. But afterwards, man, if you...
I was about to say.
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I don't have to, but I guess I will now that he threw it to me. After the game, Jameis Winston going around, literally had a line of former teammates coming up, hugging him, shaking his hand, whatever. Like, you do not see that from starting quarterbacks, let alone backup quarterbacks. Like, that's just proof to like how much of an infectious guy Jameis Winston is, and how much of a leader and a teammate. What a great locker room.
I'm
gonna
say he may not be a starter anymore. Debatable.
Currently is.
Yeah, I mean, debatable with the whole Browns situation whether he should be a starter in the NFL. Blah blah blah. But he's a glue piece. Like, man, people love playing with him. The fans love him. I mean, he's basically my favorite. He's top 3-4 favorite player maybe ever not to play for the Bengals. I love the guy. It's just energy, and he's just hilarious. Like, eat the W's, and it's like, what are you saying? I don't even know.
I don't know what you're saying, but I love every bit of it.
Colton, what did we watch? The
Sunday conversation with Caleb Presley and Jameis Winston. Oh, it was awesome, dude. He matched like Caleb's energy. You know, when you see an interview that's longer than like 4 minutes, it's going to be a doozy, and it was most certainly a great one. But one last thing I wanted to mention, I'll mention it for Garrett. The Seahawks got a big win over the 49ers, 20-17. Both teams are now knotted at 5-5, which opens up the door for the Cardinals, who are 6-4, if I remember correctly. They lead the NFC West, but that's a big game, and a game that was won on a Geno Smith rushing touchdown. It was like a 20-yarder or something like that. Like he had quite a bit of
13.
13. My bad. It seemed a little longer, I guess, on the TV. But
I was gonna highlight that. Took it out of my mouth.
All right.
Moving along to the primetime picks. We have the Thursday night football game, the AFC North matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns. That kicks off at 8:15. Give me the Steelers, just because, I mean, they're playing against the Browns.
Yeah, I'm going with Steelers as well, especially with their defense, though. I've guaranteed they're going to continue the momentum, though. They're going to pressure Jameis Winston, so give me the Steelers over the Browns.
So talking to our Steeler buddy, Alex. Alex says that's going to be a sleeper game and they're going to slip up and lose. Telling you, Alex, it's not going to happen. Your Steelers get the W tomorrow night. Don't worry.
Yep.
All I want is a funny Jameis moment in primetime. Just give me one, and I'll be happy. Steelers win.
I have to show you a video of a funny Steelers fan after this that I showed Garrett and Phil. Anyways, moving on down to, we have no CBS games this week. Romo and Nance get a week off. Romo, can you take the rest of your career off? Just take a break, buddy. We do have 2 Fox games to talk about. 49ers and Packers, 4:25 kickoff on Fox. Might be a pretty big game. Might be an interesting game to watch. I want to let you guys start it off here.
For myself, I'm going with the Packers. I'm a little concerned with the 49ers, though. They're dealing with more injuries, especially with Nick Bosa. And does George Kittle have an injury? Do you know, John?
Yeah, he was out last week. I'm not sure if it was a game time decision, so he could play this week. He may not.
Okay, but that's been the story of their season, though, just dealing with all sorts of injuries, though. But with those concerns, like I mentioned with Kittle and Bosa, I feel like that's gonna put a toll on the 49ers offense. So give me the Packers.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the injuries are becoming a little bit too much for the 49ers, and we're literally going to see the 49ers miss the playoffs, so give me the Packers.
I think this is definitely a deciding game in that, but I think I'm going to ride with the 49ers. I don't know why. I just feel like the Niners need to win a game here in order to keep their playoff hopes alive, and I think they'll find a way to do it. And with Christian McCaffrey at running back, you never know. Moving on down to the third matchup of the week, the Cardinals and Seahawks, a big NFC West matchup. Sorry, Seahawks. You had the H.
I always do.
H capitalized there. 4:25 on Fox again, and this is a big game. This is a big game with some implications. As like I said, the Cardinals currently lead the NFC West. If they win this game, they can get some separation from the Seahawks, obviously, and the Niners. So, and especially if the Niners end up dropping that game against the Packers, I mean, whew, Cardinals winning the NFC West was not on the bingo card. But I want to go ahead and ride with my toddler and Kyler Murray. the toddlers get the dub over the Seahawks.
For myself, I mean, overall, though, I feel like this is going to be a great offensive game, though. But I feel like the Cardinals' run game, I feel like that's going to be beneficial in this matchup. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was going back and forth with this one, but I think I'm going with the Cardinals.
It's in the 12th man. The 12th man will help.
Seahawks, my bad.
No. It's in the 12th man. Kyler, go ahead and prove me wrong. It's not going to be done. Give me the Seahawks.
Just kidding. I'm sticking with the Cardinals.
One thing I think you forgot to mention when talking about that Seahawks 49ers game is that the past couple years, the 49ers have owned the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks haven't even come close to sniffing a victory against them. So I think this ended like a 5-game losing streak against the 49ers. It could be even more. I could be wrong. But this game very much could turn their season around. And if they could get the win tomorrow if they could get the win against the Cardinals this weekend, I mean, they're in first in the division. So, which is crazy to think about given how the season started for them.
That's kind of the story of the NFC West, huh?
It pretty much is, yeah.
No, literally, when you look at the NFC West right now, it's like it's flipped upside down.
Yeah.
The Niners are in last, then the Rams, then the Seahawks, and the Cardinals. It's flipped upside down. What happened here?
Yeah. Crazy.
What
a
in the
turnaround.
world? But yeah, moving along down to the Sunday night football game on NBC, of course, between the Eagles and Rams. That kicks off. Man, we got a lot of NFC West representation.
I mean, it's a big weekend for the NFC West.
Yeah. This might be the most fun division to watch to see how it all plays out. But yeah, 8-20 is the kickoff, not 8-20. That's IU's record a couple years ago. Eagles, Rams, give me the Eagles. They are definitely on a roll right now, and I know the Rams are kind of playing for their playoffs, so I can't doubt them. But just looking at how this team has been playing on both ends, the Eagles, give me Philly.
Yeah, for myself, I'm going with Philly as well. I feel like that run game's going to show up. That Eagles defense is going to pressure Stafford, but yeah, I'm going with the Eagles.
I can't wait to see this battle between the Eagles' young secondary and these Rams wide receivers. Puka got beat up a little bit last week, so I'm going to need to look a little bit more into that. However, due to being in LA, give me the Rams.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. We got a Monday night football matchup between the Ravens and the Chargers.
HAR-BALL Bowl.
The HAR-BALL Bowl. I wonder where Josh goes on this one.
I'm excited.
I'm not hiding it at all. I'm going to just cut you off and just say, give me the Chargers. I'm not picking the Ravens. I don't care. Give me the Chargers. Herbert again goes out there and proves what he's worth. And I'm telling you, man, these Chargers are getting better and better and better by the week. However, fun fact I saw today, it's the number 2 offense versus the number 1 defense in the NFL. But the Chargers in their wins might have a little bit asterisk. They had the 27th ranked strength of schedule in all the NFL.
Yep.
Now y'all can go ahead and pick however you want, but it's still going to be the Chargers. HAR-BALL, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this matchup, though. I feel like coming into this game, Justin Herbert will take advantage of a weak Baltimore secondary. And, I mean, you know how LA likes to play. They like to throw the ball. But it'll be interesting to see how this tough LA defense will step up against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I feel like that defense is going to show up. The Chargers are at home, so give me Los Angeles.
I like that pick.
I'm going to go right ahead and save the graphic here. It would be pretty funny if like they just had a gentleman's agreement to only run the ball like the good old days. I could see it happening. Why not? But regardless, I am going to go with the Ravens here. They did just play against a tough defense, and we saw that offense kind of struggle, but I think they bounced back. I think HAR-BALL, the one that's been in the NFL for a little bit longer, maybe has something up his sleeve for his brother. But it's going to be interesting because it's not just a random game between two guys. I mean, against the number 2 offense and the number 1 defense.
The stories in this game, it's not only HAR-BALL. It's Greg Roman going against that
old team,
the Ravens team. It's Jesse Minter, who is a protege of the Ravens system. It is Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins looking for revenge on the Ravens giving up.
Chargers. I change. I
will allow that change if you really want to change
I
it.
very much allow that. I want that change.
I think J.K. is going to have a huge game, which is why
agree.
when you were like, oh, through the air, don't get me wrong, they're going to throw it. McConkey is coming out of his shell right now.
I would say.
Quentin Johnson looks like somebody who's brand new. Hey, T. Higgins, if you really want to go to a system and maybe not lose too much on a quarterback, let me introduce you to the Chargers. Anyway, but yeah, no, yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, no, I mean, this game is going to be so much fun. I will not be doing anything Monday night besides sitting in front of my television watching this game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. It's going to be a good
definitely.
game. And so we're all across the board, the Chargers now. You convinced me there. Like, they literally just have everyone who has any inside information on the Ravens, and they also have his brother who has inside information on the Ravens.
Yeah, and you know, Big Brother doesn't want to lose the little brother.
No, heavens no. So, oh God, I can't imagine what the practices and stuff are like.
This is
week.
also, what, 3 days before Thanksgiving? So they're going to...
That has to be planned. You can't tell me.
I mean, it has to be,
That
because
has to
not only that, but the Charger family, they have a home in Ann Arbor, but they also have a home in L.A.
The Har-BALL family.
Har-BALL family. Yeah, like his parents will be there, obviously.
Right.
I mean, dude, it's just, this is just cinema. It is pure cinema.
It is true
and I
cinema.
literally cannot wait for it, man. Oh my God, I'm getting too excited. I'm going to have to calm down.
To be a fly on the wall at that HAR-BALL Thanksgiving, man.
Oh, man.
Wow. But is there any closing thoughts you guys have that you want to get out there before we wrap up the show?
I think I've already peaked with this HAR-BALL excitement. Which no, you just got to, damn you, Cole. But no, I will mention this though: the irrelevant or the random player at the backside. It's Kevin Zeitler. The Bengals have been searching for 7 years to find his replacement. They still have not done that. PFF rankings for the starting guards for the Bengals out of 77 players are 77th and 75th. Yeah, that's a problem. Fix it, Duke, or get fired. Okay, now we're done. We can go. Okay. Go ahead, Cole. Wrap it up.
We got a little hint of what a rant would have looked like if we had that on Monday. But yeah, Ben, Garrett, anything?
No, I think I'm good.
I'm done here.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button. We're looking to hit 50 subscribers. Once we do, we'll be giving away a $50 Fanatics gift card. And that even if we are past that 50 mark, be sure to still subscribe. If we have not done the giveaway yet, you can still be entered. So thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Bill and NKU Media Services. Thank you, co-host, for coming on. Be sure to check us out on Apple and Spotify, Apple Music and Spotify, or Apple Podcast, not music, whatever. So you get the gist. And follow us on Twitter at NorthSpeedWPod. But for now, this is Colton saying peace out.